Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuf Chof Ches Amud Beis. 3 lines from the bottom. Our Gemara continues to discuss the topic of Yoledes, a woman who gives birth. Our Mishnah states, Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Our Gemara now details the Yoledes. Says the Gemara, Om Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel, Chaya Kol Zman She'akever Pasuach. A Yoledes, so long as her rechem is open, Bein Amra Tzrichani, Bein Loy Amra Tzrichani, Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Whether she says, I need certain treatment, or whether she does not say that she needs, nonetheless, if it's necessary, we're Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Nistam HaKever, once her kever, her rechem closes, Bein Amra Tzrichani, whether she says that she needs, Bein Loy Amra Tzrichani, or whether she does not say that she needs, Ein Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. We do not Mechal HaShabbos. Rav Ashi Masni Hochi. We're on top of Kuf Chof Tes Amud Aleph. So this is how Rav Ashi teaches that if a woman who's a Yoledes, while her rechem is patuach, she says that either she needs help or she does not say that she needs help, and it's determined that she does need medical treatment, well, Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos for her. On the other hand, if her kever is already sosum, the rechem is closed, it's nistam, then only if she said that she needs medical treatment, then we'll Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos, otherwise we will not. Marzutra Masni Hochi, Marzutra taught differently. Om Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. This is what Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel said. Chayo Kozman She'akever Pasuach. A Yoledes, so long as the kever, the rechem is open, Bein Amra Tzrichani, Bein Amra Ein Tzrichani, Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Whether she says she needs or whether she says she does not need, she actively says she does not need, still we will Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Nistam HaKever, Amra Tzrichani, Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos, Loy Amra Tzrichani, Ein Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. If her kever is nistam, that means the rechem is now closed, and she says that she needs, then we will Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Only if she says that she does not need, then we will not Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. So we have over here the second teaching of Yehuda Mar Shmuel. The way that Marzuta teaches is much more mekil. Aleph, in the case where the rechem is still open, there, unless, even if she says that she does not need actively, we will still Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. And when her rechem is nistam, even if she says that she needs, we will, yes, Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Says the Gemara, Omar le Ravina le Meraimar, Marzuter Masni lekulo, Rav Ashi Masni lechumro. Hilchasa keman. The first teaching, name of Rav Ashi, is lechumra. The latter one, in the name of Marzutra, is lekula. To whom does the halacha follow? Omar le halacha kemarzutra. Safek nefashos lahakil. Because of the klal safek nefashos lahakil, therefore we go like Marzutra. Me'em masai poseches hakever, psichas hakever. From what time, at which stage do we say that the kever, the rechem, is now open? Omar Abaye, misho sheteshiv ala mashber. The time that she sits on her birthing stool. That's the time when it's considered that the rechem is posachas. Rav Huna Bereid Rav Yoshua Omar misho shehadam shoises v'yared. So long as the dam begins to then leave her, then that is already a beginning when the rechem is open. V'omrei lo, and others say, misho shechavuseha noisois oso be'agpe. The hainu, when she needs support to stand with somebody holding onto her arm. In other words, these 3 different simonim is when the rechem is beginning now to open. These are indeed the 3 simonim that renders her into nida. The nafka mina is that she becomes a nida whereby harchachos, her husband can no longer then be nogeya ba, he can no longer touch her. And these are also the 3 different simonim that then indicate that she's now beginning the state of pikuach nefesh, where a person can Mechalin Ale Es HaShabbos. Omar Abaye shloisha yamim. Abaye said 3 days. Rav Amar Bishmei Derav Yehuda Shiva. 7 days. Va'amri la shloshim. And there are those who say 30 days. In other words, there are 3 different stages of a yoledis. 3 days, the first 3 days, 7 days, between 3 and 7, and 30 days between 7 days and 30 days. Omrei Neherdoi explains, Chaya Gimel Zayin V'Lamed. The Chaya, the yoledis, has one stage between when she gives birth and the first 3 days. The second stage is from the 3rd day until the 7th day. And the third stage is after the 7 days until 30 days. Bein Gimel, Bein Amra Tzrichani, Bein Amra Lo Tzrichani, Mechal Nelas HaShabbos. Whether she says she needs help, whether she says that she doesn't say that she needs help, or she says that she does not need help, rather, actively, then we are Mechalin Ales HaShabbos. That's the most, of course, critical time, and she's a state of Pikuach Nefesh, the Kol HaDeos. Zayin, if she already hits 1 week, then Amra Tzricha Ani, she says that I need, then indeed, Mechalin Ales HaShabbos. Amra Lo Tzricha Ani, but if she says she does not need, then Ein Mechalin Ales HaShabbos. Then we listen to her and we are Mechal Shabbos. Lamed, when she gets to that stage between Zayin and Lamed, Afilu Amar Tzricha Ani Ein Mechal Ales HaShabbos. Even if she were to say after 1 week that she does need help, medical attention, then we're not Mechal Ales HaShabbos because she has a din of a Choyle She'ein Bo Sakana. Aval Oisna Yedei Aramoy. But we will then give medical attention Mechal Shabbos Ayidei Goy. Ki derav Ula berei derav Iloi de Omar Kol tzarchei choyle da'asin ayidei aramoy b'Shabbos. Whatever a choyle, dahainu a choyle she'ein boy sakana, needs medical treatment, medical attention, then you can mechal the Shabbos on that, for that person. If it's a goy can mechal Shabbos, you can tell a goy mechal Shabbos for that choyle she'ein boy sakana. Uk'derav Hamnuna, da'om Rav Hamnuna, davar she'ein boy sakana oimer lenochri ve'oise. In other words, if she's in a state of the first 3 days, then for sure she's in a pikuach nefesh, then the Jew is to the mechal Shabbos on behalf of whether she says that she needs or whether she does not need. From 7 days until 30 days, from 3 days until 7 days, then when she says that she needs a mechal HaShabbos, even the Jew is mechal Shabbos on her behalf, and if she says she does not need, then you don't mechal Shabbos. However, from 7 days and beyond until 30, then the Jew is not Mechal Shabbos, only to let a goy treat her and Mechal Shabbos because she's a din of a Chol She'ein Bo Sakana. Omer Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel, Lechaya Lamed Yoim Lemay Hilchasa. Lechaya Lamed Yoim, Yoledis for 30 days. Ask the Gemara, Lemay Hilchasa, what was he saying in regards to Shloishim? What does that mean? In what regard? He wasn't referring to then Shloshim in respect to the Zayin Yomim, because he doesn't mention anything other than Shloishim. So then, Lamai Hilchasa, in what regard does he mean the halacha over here? Amrei Neherdoi Litvila. In regards for a woman who's a yoledis to be toivel herself in a mikvah, to immerse herself in a mikvah, he meant to say that only after 30 days, because since it calls her to be chilled, and a yoledis is sensitive to being cold, and therefore it's dangerous for her to be cold, therefore she has to wait 30 days to immerse herself in a mikvah. Omar Rava said, Loy Amar ela she'ein baila ima. Rava said, that's provided that she's not going to be able to be with her husband afterwards. Aval baila ima, baila mechamama. But if her husband would be present, and he would be able to then heat her up, ayidei tashvish hamita, then indeed he'll be mechamim with his goof, and therefore she can go ahead and immerse herself in mikvah even prior to 30 days. Kiho de Barte de Rav Chizda, the daughter of Rav Chizda, who was married to Rava, who just made the statement that there's a condition that she is able to then be immersed in herself in a mikvah before 30 days if her husband is around. So the daughter of Rav Chizda Tovla begoy tlasin yomin, and she immersed herself in a mikvah within 30 days, and Rava was not present, her husband was not around. Shelo b'fnei baila. V'itstanias, and she became chilled. V'amtu la'arsa basri derava lebumbidisa, and they brought the bed that she was lying on, her sick bed that she was lying on, they brought her all the way to Rava in Pumbedisa in order for him to mechamim his wife. Omar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel, another statement that Rav Yehuda may say in the Shmuel. Oisin medura lechaya b'Shabbos. A person can make a large fire for a yoledis on Shabbos to heat her up. Savr minay lechaya in lechoila loy. We thought to say that that's only for a chaya, but not for a choile. And only during the rainy season, that means the winter, and not during the summer days. I'll read the parentheses because it flows better. But this is not so. Whether it's a chaya or a choile. Whether it's the winter or it's the summer. From the fact that the following statement was made. Hiki is dam, a person who did bloodletting, he let out blood, v'nitztanein, and then he became chilled, he became cold. Oisin lo medura afilu b'tekufas Tammuz. You can make a large fire on his behalf to then heat him up on Shabbos, even during the summer days of Tammuz. So we see from here, lav dafka chaya and lav dafka during the winter. Shmuel tzal chulei tarch taka deshaga. They chopped wood of a cedar tree, which is an expensive type of wood, on behalf of Shmuel, which was a chair made out of cedar wood. Rav Yehuda tzalchule petura diyavna. For Rav Yehuda, they chopped wood of a table made out of yavna wood. L'Rabbi tzalchule sharshifa. For Rabbah, they couldn't find any other wood that was usable to make a fire, and they chopped up a footrest. Abai then turned to Rabbah and he said, you're taking something that's usable and now you're throwing a good footstool into a fire to make it a fire. It's bal tashchis. Rabbah's response to Abai was, bal tashchis de gufoy odif li. The bal tashchis of my goof is more important, and therefore, because my health is involved, therefore it then requires then to take even a footstool and throw it into a fire in order to then save my own health. Omer Rav Yehuda Marav la'olam yimkor adam korois beisoy v'yikach minolim l'raglov. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav, the following statement: a person should always, if necessary, sell even the beams of his house, so he no longer will have shelter in his house, in order to then buy shoes, so that shoes can then be worn on his feet. Says Rashi above, Vayikach minalim she'ein lechabizui min hamahalech yochef b'shuk. There's nothing more disgraceful to a person than somebody who walks in a public area barefoot. So better to then to sell even the karos beisoy, even the beams of his house, so he won't have shelter in his house, to then be able to then wear shoes on his feet. And still it states, Hikis dam ve'ein loy ma yoichal. If a person bloodlet and he doesn't have food to eat afterwards to then promote his health, Yimkor minalim sheberaglov. He should then sell the shoes on his feet. As important as the shoes on his feet are, as Rav just told us, he tells us that it's more important to be able to eat after one bloodlets. The suffix v'yaspik mehen tzarchei suda, and then he can buy the needs for a suda. Ask the Gemara, my tzarchei suda, what's considered to be the needs of a suda? Rav amar bosar ushum amar yayin. Rav says to eat meat after one bloodlets, where Shmuel says to drink red wine after one bloodlets. Rav amar bosar, because nafsha cholaf nafsha, because he gave some of his nefesh, dam hua nefesh, therefore he has to replace the dam, the nefesh, with nefesh, which is bosar. Ushmuel amar yayin, sumka cholaf sumka. Since indeed the red blood was let, therefore he has to replace red with red wine with red blood. Gemara now makes a simin shenimsar, which is the Rashi Tevois of the following Amaroim. Shmuel, b'yoyim da'avad milsa, the day that he bloodlet, avdi le tavshile de tachli. They would make for him a tavshil of spleen. The spleen is a very red type of meat, and therefore, as he said before, replacing red blood with red, this is in line with that they would give him a red spleen to eat. Rabbi Yochanan, shosi ad nafik tiye miune. He would drink so much wine until the scent would go out from his ears. Rav Nachman shosi ad kofi tichle. And Rav Nachman would drink so much wine until his spleen would float in the wine. Rabbi Yosef shosi ad nafik mirivdo de kuslito. And he would drink enough wine so that the place where they would bloodlet, where the hole was inserted, that would be something that the wine would go out from. Rava mahada achamro bartlose tarfi. Rava would go after wine that was wine from a vine that was a 3-year-old wine. So here we have the Rashi Tevos of Shin Nun Mem Samech Reish, referring to Shmuel, referring to Rabbi Yochanan, Rav Nachman, Rav Yosef, and Rava. Omar lahu Rav Nachman bar Yitzchok leRabbanan b'mitusa minaychu. He asked to excuse him, but as follows: B'yoyme da'hakoza, he says to the Talmidim, the day that you bloodlet, Omru levaisaychu Nachman ikla legabon. Tell your household that Nachman, referring to himself, of course, is coming to visit. In other words, then they'll provide him a good meal after they're being bloodlet. V'kulu aramoi, says the Gemara, in all types of situation where a person tries to make deception, asire, it's also to make deception. Bar mehai arama deshoy, with the exception of the following deception. Manda ovid milsa, one who bloodlets, v'loy efshirlei, and he does not have the ability to then drink wine. He doesn't have wine at hand. Then lishko zuzum macha, let him take a zuz that was worn out, no longer has its surah, it's now an asimon. V'leiza l'shov chanvoso, and go to 7 different stores that sell wine. Now the way that they had it back then was when a person would buy wine, he would be able to then taste the wine. So they would give him a sample of wine, and he would drink the sample, and then he'd be prepared to buy the wine with the asimon that he had in his hand. But mostly the store owners did not want an asimon, and they wouldn't accept it, and therefore they would not sell him the wine. So it says, at the time, shir revi also. He should go to 7 different stores, drinking the sampling of the wine. Each time the seller does not want to sell him the wine because he only has an asimon. Although, indeed, it has worth, and if they would want, they could indeed sell him the wine and take the asimon as payment, but they didn't want, and therefore it's a deception that's valid. V'ilo, if he cannot do this because he doesn't have such a coin, then leichoshav tamri uchmeta v'lishuv mishcha betzido v'nigni b'shimsha. Then he should take 7 black dates, and he should eat them, and he should rub oil on his temples and sit in the sun to get heated up. The Gemara now tells over the following Maisa: Avlit ashkeche l'Shmuel, a goy named Avlit. He came and he saw Shmuel, the Gani b'Shimsha. He was lying in the sun, getting the heat from the sun. Omar lei, he turns to Shmuel and he says to him, Chachima di Yehudoi, O wise one of the Jewish people, Bisha mi have tova, from something bad. He's referring to that sitting in the sun, which is something that's usually negative for one's health. Is something good going to come out from it? Omar lei, Shmuel says to him, Yomi da'hakozahava. It's the day of bloodletting. In other words, it's healthy to warm oneself up with the sun. Velohi, however, this was not so. It's a day that when a person sits in the sun the entire day, it's going to be very helpful to him. Because the Yomi the Nafla Beit Tekufas Tammuz is the day that Tekufas Tammuz fell. The Savar lo yigale le, but Shmuel did not want to reveal this to the goy.